Evan came back to the table and he was kind of making a weird noise and said, "Mommy, I just had my first peanut and I didn't like it." Hi, I'm Karma. I'm the Director of Marketing at Mabel's Labels, and I'm also the mom to one 13-year-old son who suffers from some severe allergies, food allergies as well as environmental allergies. So we're going to talk to you today about a number of things, how we found out about his allergies, how we choose to manage them at our house and out of the house, and also how we got to the point where we were comfortable enough to send our severely allergic child off to sleepaway camp. So before we begin, we're trying to form this amazing resource for parents and provide lots of great content, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel below. So the story of how we found out about his allergies is actually kind of sad and kind of scary. Evan was 2 years old, and we had been told by our doctor that it was a good idea to introduce common allergens slowly, because at that time the information was very different than what it is today. So we had never given him a peanut or peanut butter or any nuts, and we were at a sports bar where there's peanuts everywhere and all over the floor and the shells are everywhere. And we were there, and my husband took him into the bar part, and Evan came back to the table and he was kind of making a weird noise and said, "Mommy, I just had my first peanut and I didn't like it." And within the next few minutes, he had a rash on his face and he was drooling, and my husband, not knowing anything, just said, "I'm gonna rush home and grab some Benadryl." And so I was left at the restaurant with Evan, and over the course of the next 15 or 20 minutes, he just gradually got worse and worse. And telling this story, it makes me feel so silly because I had no idea what was going on at the time. So over the next 15 or 20 minutes, he was kind of going between being super lethargic and being hysterical. And when his dinner came to the table, he wasn't able to swallow it. And that's when I really knew we had a problem. So we rushed him to the hospital and they took him in right away. And when they finally stabilized him, we were told by the doctor that he had about 20 minutes left to live. Whew. So that was a super scary night, and it was a night that basically changed our lives forever. So the one thing that I learned in the hospital that night, which I think is really interesting for people who don't have an allergic child to really get an understanding of, was that an EpiPen doesn't save a child's life. An EpiPen gives you 20 minutes to get to the hospital. And I had no idea that that was the case before this happened. And I was uneducated, and I just was shocked when the doctor told me that. So we now have a child who walks around anywhere where he goes with at least one EpiPen, if not 2 or 3. And he's also always got Benadryl with him and all of his meds. After that happened, we did go to an allergist and get him tested, and it turned out he was severely allergic to not just peanuts, but all nuts, as well as shellfish. And then as time has gone on, he has developed more allergies. He's allergic to kiwi, and he's also severely allergic to sunflower, which is a really tricky one because sunflower oil is in everything. It's in all snacks that you typically would buy for kids' lunches or, just snacks to carry around. So it's in all crackers, it's in raisins, it's in craisins, it's in everything that you would typically buy, whether it's an organic product or not. It's in just about everything. So that allergy was just diagnosed within the last 2 years. So that has changed again what Evan's able to eat. So once Evan was diagnosed with all of his allergies, my husband and I really sat down and thought about how we were going to manage this and how we were going to move forward with life and not let this allergy define Evan and define what he was able to do in life. So he still, from a very young age, went to birthday parties, and it was just all a matter of communicating with the other parents that were hosting the parties about his allergies. And Most parents were fine with it. Sometimes parents would say, you know, I'm more comfortable if you provide a snack for Evan, or if you bring him a special cupcake so I don't have to worry about the cake that I'm serving. And I was totally fine with that, appreciated the honesty, and I know that having a child in your home with a severe food allergy, if you're not used to it, is scary for a lot of people. So I would always make the offer, you know, I can easily bring him snacks. I can easily bring him a piece of cake that I know is safe, so you don't have to be worried about it. All I would ask is that you don't have nuts out in the house when Evan's over, and that you've wiped down any surfaces that may have had nuts on them. Another thing I used to do when he was really little and going to birthday parties was I would use Mabel's Label's Kids Safety Bracelet, because they were super easy to put on him. They don't bother him, and it's an opportunity for you to list his allergies and also your contact information. So it was just a little bit of peace of mind, not just for me, but the mom or the parents that were hosting the party as well, that they had the contact information front and center, really easily accessible, could get a hold of me at any time. So we really did make a decision, a conscious decision, that we wanted Evan to live as normal a life as possible. So he went to birthday parties, he went trick-or-treating at Halloween, he traveled, he goes to summer camp, and he has been going to sleepaway summer camp for a number of years. I think this summer it will be his 8th summer. So he started when he was 6 years old, and he went for 1 week. And I knew the summer camp that I wanted him to go to. So once we decided that, we just needed to communicate with the camp very clearly about what his allergies were. And they're obviously more than willing to accommodate. So when he went off to camp for the very first time, he went with, you know, 3 EpiPens, a bottle of Benadryl cream, everything he would possibly need just in case he had an allergic reaction when he was there. But the camp is really great because while they don't claim to be 100% nut-free, they don't serve any nut products in the kitchen. They just can't guarantee that the food coming into the kitchen hasn't been cross-contaminated at the manufacturing process. So they don't say that they're 100% nut-free, but they don't serve any nuts. So that for me provided enough comfort level for me to say, okay, yeah, we're good. He can go. And then they also restrict the food coming in with other campers. So no food is allowed to come in care packages. They also have a number of stations set up around the camp. So at the waterfront, at all of the different activity stations, they have EpiPens right at every station. So that gave me comfort level. All of the counselors in training, the instructors, the staff, everybody there is trained in first aid, how to administer an EpiPen, how to recognize signs of anaphylaxis. So that again provided a level of comfort. And then of course there's a staff doctor and there's 3 nurses on staff at all times during the summer. So there were enough boxes checked for me where I felt very comfortable sending him away. And he has never, in all 7 seasons he's gone to camp, never had a problem and never even had anything close to a reaction. So everything's great. So when Evan went off to school for the first time, I was concerned about how other kids would treat him because of his allergy, how he would possibly be separated from the other kids when he was eating lunch and all of those things. But it was really interesting for me because from a very young age, from the time he was in, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, grade 1, all of the kids around Evan basically started becoming little advocates for him. So if there was a child or an adult that came into the school with a nut product, they would really jump to his defense right away and say, oh no, you can't have that, you know, Evan's allergic. Or, you know, if he got invited for play dates, it would be the kids saying to their parents, oh, make sure we don't have peanut butter out, Evan's coming over. And it really became interesting to me that all these little guys and little girls were just banding together and becoming little advocates for my kid. And as Evan's gotten older, he's now 13, he's the best advocate for himself. So he really is careful. Obviously, he's grown up for as long as he can remember, he's had these allergies. So he's just grown up knowing what is safe, what's not safe. And as he matures and finds his own voice, he's now more comfortable saying to people on his own, oh, can you please not eat those peanuts beside me? I'm severely allergic. Or, you know, I carry an EpiPen, so I'm worried about what you're eating. Which is really fantastic for me because he's actually kind of a shy kid. So for him to be able to find his voice and advocate for himself was really, really important. As he grows up and matures and moves into, you know, the next phase of his life, I do have, you know, some concerns about what's going to happen in the next phase where he's a teenager and, you know, he has a girlfriend or, you know, somebody around him is eating peanut butter and then he has his first kiss or something like that. That's a whole other ball of wax. So I'm gonna not think about that maybe for another, hopefully, year or two. Another thing that really helps with my comfort level is that I work for a company that produces amazing allergy products. So we have at Mabel's our allergy stickers that have, I think we have 8 common allergens. So you just peel and stick that to any containers or anything that's going to be seen by other people. Lunch containers, great for day camp and stuff like that. In addition to the pre-printed allergy stickers, we also have several other allergy products as well. We have custom allergy alerts that you can customize with up to 6 allergies. And we have medical labels and tags that you can customize with even more information. So that just provides awareness to the people around him. Because of their color, everything is red and white, so it's very visible right at a glance as well. I also use my Mabel's labels on his EpiPens and on his other medications so that they don't get mixed up with other campers and that they're administering, if necessary, the medication that's meant for Evan. So that basically wraps up my own personal story of raising a child with severe food allergies. If you have any questions about how I chose to deal with it and how I continue to deal with it with Evan, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'm in Mabel's Labels office all the time and I can answer at any point.